The Chicago Sky are one of the worst basketball teams I've ever seen. And today, their coach literally just waved the white flag. He quit. He literally just said, Phoenix Mercury, destroy us even more than you're destroying us right now. He basically benched all of his starters not long into the third quarter. Just gave up.
Chicago Sky is more like Chicago, why are you on TV? Like, they're an embarrassment, bro. There's a reason why the Indiana Fever are on TV all the time, because they actually have a good product, when they have a good game, even a bad game, they're still actually fun to watch. This is horrible. Chicago Sky is an embarrassment, bro. The WNBA definitely screwed up having this game as a national televised game. They screwed up bad.
In the world of professional sports, there are losses, there are blowouts, and then there is a level of organizational failure so profound it becomes a public spectacle. Welcome to the 2025 season of the Chicago Sky, a team that has transformed from a media darling built on the hype of two-star rookies into what can only be described as a full-blown basketball circus. This is not just a story about a losing record, it is a story of a franchise in complete freefall.
And Chicago Sky fans, hell, they're ready to run Tyler Marsh's ass out. I mean, the way he's playing Angel Reese, I'm going to be real with you. I mean, the one thing she could do was rebound the ball, and he has taken that away. He has taken that away. So much for coming off a triple-double.
The culmination of this disaster came in a recent game against the Phoenix Mercury, where the Sky's celebrated head coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, appeared to do the unthinkable. She waved the white flag. She benched her entire starting lineup midway through the third quarter of a nationally televised game, an act of public surrender so stunning it sent shockwaves through the league. What could possibly lead a legendary competitor to quit on her team in the middle of a game? This is the story of that moment and the anatomy of a WNBA collapse.
I don't know what's wrong with them, but like, they could lose this game by 40. Like, I don't know. I don't know what is wrong with this team, because today it wasn't even, I don't even think that this was an effort thing. Like, I don't even think this was an effort problem. But at the end of the day, like, they're just not good.
To understand the sheer magnitude of the Sky's disastrous season, we must first dissect the game that has come to symbolize their complete and utter collapse, a mid-season matchup against the Phoenix Mercury. This was not just a loss, it was a public execution, broadcast in high definition for the entire basketball world to witness. From the opening tip, the Sky looked hopelessly outmatched. The Mercury came out swinging, establishing a commanding 31-18 lead in the first quarter alone. The Sky's offense was a chaotic mess, committing a staggering 8 turnovers in the first quarter, which the Mercury gleefully converted into 13 easy points.
Yeah, I think that we got a couple players that are banged up, so we want to be mindful of minutes. I think that when the game got out of hand there midway through the third, for us, there was more preservation at that point, and players were almost at their limit anyway, being on a back-to-back, and so we wanted to be mindful of that. And if the game wasn't as out of hand, then maybe it would have looked different. But we got to be healthy and ready to go into Atlanta tomorrow. We got 3 games in 4 days with LA on that following Tuesday. So we got to be mindful of having healthy bodies so that we can give us as good of an effort as we can going into tomorrow's game.
But the true horror show began in the third quarter. The Mercury, already holding a comfortable lead, opened the second half with an 11-3 run, extending their advantage to a massive 25 points. The game was spiraling into a full-blown humiliation. It was at this moment that the cameras panned to the Chicago bench, capturing a stunning scene. Head coach Teresa Weatherspoon, a WNBA Hall of Famer and one of the fiercest competitors the league has ever known, looked on with an expression of pure resignation. She had seen enough. In a move that will likely haunt her coaching reputation for years to come, she pulled her entire starting lineup, including her 2 high-profile rookies, Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, from the game. This was not a strategic rotation to get her bench some playing time. With nearly half the game still to go, this was an act of surrender, a coach throwing in the towel on national television. The final score was a soul-crushing 107-86 defeat, a game that saw the Mercury hit a franchise record 17 three-pointers. The Sky, meanwhile, turned the ball over a staggering 21 times. It was not just a basketball game, it was a public service announcement about what happens when hype collides with reality, and reality brings a sledgehammer.
I am here to tell you guys, man, when it comes to the Chicago Sky, no one could have predicted that this team was going to be this bad. I mean, they are horrible, bro. I mean, my goodness. If you guys haven't heard by now, the Chicago Sky has lost another damn basketball game, this time to the hands of the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury put BTA all over the Chicago Sky. And I'm here to tell you, Tyler Marsh is getting the focal point of the blame, bro. But to me, you have to blame the players of this damn basketball team, starting with the leader of the team. I just gotta be honest. That is Princess Barbie Angel Reese. Man, she's been trash. Just horrendous. I just gotta be honest.
The decision to wave the white flag has placed Coach Teresa Weatherspoon squarely on the hot seat. The irony is palpable. Weatherspoon was hired to be the savior of this franchise. She is a basketball legend, a Hall of Fame player known for her incredible toughness, her leadership, and her fiery competitive spirit. As an assistant coach, she helped lead the Las Vegas Aces to back-to-back WNBA championships. She was supposed to bring that championship pedigree to Chicago, to be the basketball whisperer who could unlock the immense potential of her 2-star rookies and mold them into a dominant force. Instead, she has found herself presiding over one of the most dysfunctional and undisciplined teams in the league.
Angel Reese got completely exposed today, man. Y'all see how she only took 1 shot today versus the Mercury and only had 2 rebounds? This goes to show she can't get all those rebounds without taking hella shots, getting her own misses, man. You've been completely exposed today, bricklaying sloth. Completely. When you ain't taking all these shots and missing all these goddamn layups and shit, you can't get your rebounds. So your rebounds go down because no missed shots, no rebounds, man.
The most telling moment came when Reese addressed her Bet Sportswoman of the Year award, claiming she doesn't complain and comes to work every day. This is the same player who went 0 for 8 from the field against the Liberty.
Her post-game press conferences have become exercises in damage control. After the Mercury debacle, she spoke of player preservation and being mindful of minutes. The classic coach speak for, "We got absolutely destroyed and I had to stop the bleeding." But her frustration is clearly boiling over. After a previous loss where her team committed 22 turnovers, she bluntly told reporters, "We can't continue to beat ourselves. The problem is, they do. Again and again." Critics are now questioning her ability to control the team, arguing that she has no game plan to fix their glaring offensive and defensive issues. They point to her inability to manage her star players and her failure to instill a basic level of discipline. The legendary competitor who once defined toughness on the court is now the coach of a team that has publicly quit, a devastating turn of events for a figure of her stature.
Obviously, this is my 3rd one. Obviously, it really meant something to other people today because it's me. And I focus on basketball. I come into work every day and work. I don't complain. I don't care about anything else. I have bad days. I haven't been playing well at all. And I can sit here and just mope around and point the finger, but it's been me. And I take accountability. I come in every day and try to be better than the next and better than the last. And I know my teammates trust me. I know they have my back. Ariel has my back through everything. And I just love that being a part of a team that I know really trusts me and trusts my work, and everything else is everything else. I'm just here just to come to work every day and go home. That's all I want to do, is just come to work and being able to enjoy my job that I love. People would die and kill to have this job. And being able to play with the best players in the world means a lot to me. I put my all in this. I do.
Tyler Marsh came to Chicago with championship pedigree having helped the Las Vegas Aces win back-to-back.
At the center of this on-court disaster is the severe and shocking underperformance of the team's biggest star, Angel Reese. The Bayou Barbie arrived in the WNBA as a cultural phenomenon, a player whose brand, NIL deals, and massive social media following were bigger than the team itself. She was supposed to be a dominant force from day one. Instead, her rookie season has been a brutal reality check. The numbers are damning. Through the first part of the season, she was shooting a shockingly poor percentage from the field, a number that would be considered unacceptable for a role player, let alone a supposed franchise cornerstone.
So I had to spin the block. Tyler Marsh, it's time to go. You still have no game plan for the Chicago Sky. And it seems like the games where you're only running offense through Camilla and you don't have offense at least through somebody else is no plan for that. They're getting blown out extremely bad. I don't understand it.
The game against the Phoenix Mercury was a perfect microcosm of her struggles. In 21 minutes of play, she took only one shot from the field. She finished the game with just 9 points, most from the free throw line, and a stunningly low 2 rebounds. For a player whose entire identity is built on her rebounding prowess, this was a catastrophic failure. This goes to the heart of the critique against her, that her impressive college rebounding numbers were a product of her high volume of missed shots, allowing her to grab her own misses. Now, in a pro system where she is not the primary offensive option, her rebounding has evaporated.
Tyler Marsh, he has to figure out how to get experience in understanding basketball. As far as the instincts of it, the right adjustments, and the flow of the game. He doesn't have a lot of experience in that aspect. And he struggles with that. And I think that's a huge problem with him. He struggles with that aspect of understanding the game, when to call timeouts, how to manage his players on the court and off the court, putting him in position to win.
Even more troubling, however, are her post-game interviews. While her team is in a state of complete freefall, Reese has become a master of delusional word salad. She speaks of giving ourselves grace and being super happy with where the team is, a statement so disconnected from reality it borders on performance art. She talks about expanding her range while shooting under 30% from within 3 feet of the basket. It is a level of cognitive dissonance that is baffling to watch. The swagger and confidence that defined her college career now look like stubborn denial in the face of her clear professional struggles. The star who was supposed to lift the franchise has instead become the primary symbol of its dysfunction.
Tyler Marsh, okay, this might sound harsh, but I believe at this point he needs to be fired, along with many other players for our Chicago Sky. It's not just Tyler Marsh. It's not just a coaching issue. It's also a player issue. Rebecca Allen is just pretty much pointless. Haley Van Lith, pointless. We all know Kia Nurse has no business. Kia Nurse, along with Rachel Bannum, have no business being on our Chicago.
The most tragic subplot in this entire disaster is watching the immense talent of the team's other high-profile rookie, Reese Cardoso, get buried under the rubble of this failing organization. While Angel Reese struggles, Cardoso has, by all accounts, been a bright spot. In that same disastrous game against the Phoenix Mercury, she was a model of efficiency, scoring 17 points on an impressive 7 of 9 shooting in just 21 minutes. She has consistently shown flashes of the dominant, skilled post player she was in college, where she led her team to a national championship.
Hey, Reese Cardoso was killing it in this game. 7 of 9 from the field, 77.8%. That's how a big is supposed to shoot. All right? Angel only shot the ball once. She did have 6 free throws. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 points. Camilla had 17. And I got to tell you, some of these players can't hit water if they fell out of a boat. It was ugly.
But her individual success has been completely overshadowed by the team's collective chaos. The frustration is becoming visible. During games, as the team's offense breaks down into a series of turnovers and bad shots from Reese, Cardoso has often been spotted looking towards the bench with an expression of pure exasperation, the look of someone seeking an emergency evacuation from a 5-alarm fire. When Coach Weatherspoon benched both rookies simultaneously in that third quarter against Phoenix, it sent a clear and powerful message. It suggested that even the good, efficient performances of a player like Cardoso cannot overcome the systemic dysfunction of the team. Her talent is being wasted, her development is being stalled, and she is being forced to endure a season of chaos. A tragic footnote in the larger story of the Chicago Sky's spectacular collapse.
True is that this roster unfortunately was not built for success. With Courtney Vandersloot going down with the ACL injury, I just don't know how the Sky are going to weather this. See, teams have the Chicago Sky figured out. They figured out that they can go crazy from behind the arc because the Chicago Sky's perimeter defense is just not there. It's not effective. I was on the floor. I saw them fighting to get around these screens. They just can't get there. Whatever.
The anecdotal evidence of the Sky's failure is powerful, but the statistical evidence is even more damning. The numbers don't lie, and they tell the story of a historically bad basketball team. Their 3-9 record to start the season is not just a slow start, it is among the worst in franchise history. But it is the defensive statistics that paint the most horrifying picture. Through the first part of the season, the Chicago Sky have the absolute worst defensive rating in the entire WNBA, a staggering 113.6. They are giving up an average of 94.3 points per game, making them the league's most porous and ineffective defensive unit. They are the only team in the WNBA that has not held a single opponent under 90 points all season.
You guys spent the week working on handling pressure, and then this game was tough. I guess, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I think sometimes handling pressure is mental as much as it is physical, and we didn't do it consistently enough tonight. Another 20+ point or 20+ turnover game, which is tough to win when you add that with giving up 2 30-point quarters to a team as good as Phoenix. It makes it tough.
Opposing teams are shooting a blistering 45.1% from three-point range against them, effectively turning every game against the Sky into an unintentional three-point shooting contest. The turnover numbers are just as catastrophic. They are averaging a league-worst 18.9 turnovers per game. To put that in perspective, successful, disciplined WNBA teams typically average around 13 or 14 turnovers. The Sky are essentially giving their opponents 5 or 6 extra possessions every single night, and then acting surprised when they lose by double digits. This is not just a story of a team that is losing. It is the story of a team that is fundamentally and historically broken on a statistical level. Ultimately, the problems in Chicago extend far beyond a single player or even the head coach. This is a story of a franchise-wide identity crisis, a collapse that began with a series of flawed decisions from the front office. The central argument from critics is that the Sky's management made a critical and perhaps fatal error. They chose to build a team around media hype rather than sound basketball fundamentals. They drafted 2 high-profile rookies, Angel Reese and Reese Cardoso, and seemed to believe that their star power alone would be enough to win games. They failed to construct a coherent roster around them. The team has a glaring lack of perimeter defense, which is why opposing teams are shooting the lights out against them from three-point range. They lack consistent outside shooting themselves, which allows opposing defenses to pack the paint and stifle their 2 young bigs. And most importantly, they lack a true veteran floor general, a point guard who can control the tempo and prevent the chaotic, turnover-plagued defense that has become their trademark. The front office seemed to be so blinded by the marketing potential of their 2-star rookies that they forgot to build an actual functional basketball team. The result is a roster that is poorly constructed, ill-fitting, and completely lacking in on-court chemistry, a problem that no amount of coaching or individual talent can solve on its own. In the final, damning analysis, the collapse of the Chicago Sky is a story of complete and total organizational failure. From the flawed roster construction of the front office, to the questionable in-game management of the coaching staff, to the severe and shocking underperformance of its most famous star player, this is a franchise in a state of deep and profound crisis. The moment that head coach Teresa Weatherspoon, a Hall of Fame player and a legendary competitor, decided to pull her starters and wave the white flag against the Phoenix. Mercury was more than just a strategic decision in a single, lopsided game. It was a powerful and enduring symbol of an entire season that has completely surrendered to chaos, incompetence, and a series of broken promises. The question is no longer whether this team can turn things around and make the playoffs. The question is whether a franchise can ever truly recover from a public and historic collapse of this magnitude.